Today's been pretty rough. Today is Wednesday. After filming last night, I woke up feeling pretty good this morning. Went to work, had non-contact, which means I do office work off the floor. One of the staff members there just asked me how I was doing. I was just saying, yeah, I'm actually doing pretty good. And then it's like all of a sudden this wave of anxiety just hit me. And I don't know whether it was me just like, oh, I'm feeling good. I don't feel like crap today. And it was like that's all it took to start going down the negative rabbit hole. So I'm just going to wind up my window so you can't hear the traffic. And yeah, I just started spiraling, and I kept trying to almost shake off this anxiety feeling. I made myself a cup of tea, sat back down, tried to just crack and roll my neck and get back to work. And it was just building and building, and I could tell myself in my brain that I knew I was overreacting, and that didn't make it any easier. I was trying really hard to pray in my head, and then I felt guilty, I didn't have enough faith. Anyway, so then it was almost lunchtime. I was supposed to be going on an early lunch break, but we've got a new girl in our room today who is under 18, so can't be left by herself to do lunch coverage. So I got her to go on her lunch first so that I could try and contact Chad. Chad was at his office, which is down by my work, luckily, because we live an hour away from my work. But his office is only 15 minutes or 10 minutes from my work. And I just was trying to message him. He wasn't picking up the phone at first. And so anyway, I was able to get hold of him, and I was just asking, look, I've swapped lunch breaks. Can you come down? I'm just feeling really anxious. So he was able to come down on my lunch break. So by the time I got on lunch, he was there. I got in the car and just could kind of just started crying, but was able to hold it together long enough for him to get here so I could feel safe. And so I just cried, and he just held me, and we sat in the car, and I could just try and breathe. And I just thought, look, if I can just get through this lunch break, then hopefully I'll be okay for the rest of the day. But it just kept coming in waves, and it would get worse. It's like I could rationalize it in my head. I could talk myself down in my head. It wasn't connecting with how I was feeling. So and of course the last time I had a panic attack or an anxiety attack like this was right before I miscarried last time, because Chad was going to be away when I got the test done, which is not the case this time. Now, it wasn't anywhere near as bad as that, but of course then that plays on my brain last time I had an anxiety attack like this, I miscarried a week later anyway. So it's just really hard not to go down there. But apparently this is just part of the journey, and this part really sucks. I'm really debating whether to get a bunch of pregnancy tests, but at this point I don't know if it would make things better or worse. If I got a negative pregnancy test, would it make me spiral? But at the same time, I'm used to negative pregnancy tests, and I know it's early, so it just might not be reading yet. But it's Wednesday, and our test isn't booked till next Monday. And as I was explaining to one of the girls yesterday and today, that our clinic does no follow-up post your transfer. You just have to wait for your pregnancy test, which is a blood test, and they call you in the afternoon and tell you on the phone. So, yeah, I purposely didn't do testing last time, and I felt good about that. This time, I felt like I might want to know early, which I explained before. So I ended up coming home and taking a test. I did not want to go as soon as I got in the door, which I needed to go to the bathroom. I just knew that I wouldn't really be able to handle it if I didn't have an excuse and it was negative, and I don't know. But Chad and I talked about it first, and he's like, yep, just do it. You know that it might not happen, you know that it might be negative, and it's negative. So, sucks. Pretty sad. I wouldn't say like I'm distraught or anything, just disappointed and a bit numb at this point. Definitely feeling better than I did earlier, but it's still pretty hard. But can I just say, if you don't have at least a handful of people that you trust to reach out to and say, pray with me or hold me up, you need those people. Even if it's an online support group, whatever it is, you just need those people. I have 3 people specifically that I've just been letting know where I'm up to, that are praying for me, and so I just messaged them and said, this is what's been going on, this is what happened, please lift me up in prayer, any wisdom send my way. One of them got back to us pretty soon, and yeah, I guess the one thing I just heard was that this wasn't anything that was particularly said, I just felt as God was trying to speak to me, that I'm not defined by the line. And will I be happy or sad depending on the outcome? Of course I will, but I'm not defined by that line. So whether the line increases tomorrow from nothing to something, or whether it stays the same, I am still, it's Wednesday night, still don't test till Monday. But even still, if it's negative, it doesn't define who I am. I know who God's called me to be. I just have to live that out and trust that He has got the best in mind. And He's good anyway. Love you guys. Talk soon. So I took another pregnancy test this morning. It was negative. But I guess was kind of half expecting that. So I was fine, holding on. Chad was just being really sweet. He's like, it's still early, it's still early. Then at work, I was kind of spot cramping a little bit. And then I can't call it spotting, but because of the progesterone gel that I'm on, I started having very dark brown, almost black chunks of spotting on my lunch break. And then I went to the bathroom a little bit later on, and it was getting worse. By that point, I was starting to get in a little bit of pain. And, but at that stage it was like, okay, well, I've got, you know, an hour left of work, right, maybe 2 hours left of work. Chad was at least an hour away. So there was no point in that, you know, we share a car. And he has not been feeling well himself, and he had to do a ultrasound to make sure he didn't have anything more serious going on. his stomach. So he just came and picked me up at my normal time at 4. I did call him on my lunch break to say that I thought I might be miscarrying or starting to. I remembered last time that's kind of how it started. So then in the car on the way home, obviously started crying. I managed to hold it together while at work. Tried to just stay busy with cleaning jobs and that kind of stuff as best as I could. But yeah, once I was in the car, I found that really hard. And I ended up falling asleep on the car ride home because we got stuck in some traffic. By the time I got home, I was starting to cramp really quite badly, in a lot of pain. And I started passing very heavy, very dark clots, and wasn't normal. So yeah, knowing that you're miscarrying, and we've had 2 negative pregnancy tests in a row. And so I called the emergency clinic nurse. They took about half an hour to get back to me. Apparently I could have just called the clinic because they were open, but I guess I just wasn't thinking about the time. I was just got home and wanted to see whether I should be taking all these drugs, whether I should bother. So yeah, they are telling me to take my pregnancy test in and go in tomorrow, just to make sure. And I'm guessing they'd be looking for a reading more for ectopic pregnancy than anything. I'm sad. I'm hurt. I'm angry. Yeah. A bit numb. Hard not to go through the questions why it didn't work, why isn't my body doing what it's supposed to. It's rough. This infertility gig is rough, and I could totally do this on my own, as in not tell anyone what we're doing. And obviously a lot of people choose to do that, and I can totally understand why. But we felt called to do this out loud, and so I'm being obedient and doing that. You're not in this alone. I'm not in this alone. And yeah, it's really sad. Up until yesterday, until that panic attack, I felt really, really good whole way. But at this point, there's literally nothing I can do other than keep taking the drugs on a small off chance. But it definitely feels too heavy and too painful for it to be normal. And this is just part of our story. A really sucky part, but it's part of our story. We have to own it. And all the stuff that I'm feeling right now, I know a lot of it will pass. Some of it will probably stay with me. But I just have to believe
that there is a bigger purpose. Even all of that is making sure that other people like you don't feel like you're on your own.
At the clinic, having to do my blood test. Morning. So yesterday we did indeed end up miscarrying. We knew from the day before, but we got the blood test back to confirm that we had lost the pregnancy, and that news was just hard and pretty numbing, I guess. But I guess the news that was harder to kind of go through was the results from the embryologist, because I hadn't heard from them since doing the transfer, which for me was a little bit strange, I guess. Usually they call you, sorry, just getting this set. Usually they call you on the, so for us they leave it to day 5 or 6. So even though we knew at day 3 we only had one 6-cell embryo, they're supposed to let you know at day 5 or 6 that they have not done whatever, because they keep them until day 5 regardless to see how they're going, because very occasionally you've got slow developers, but ours just weren't dividing properly. So she pretty much said to me that the cells weren't dividing very well on this one. So yeah, at day 3 we had one make it to day 6, and she said it looked like a promising embryo, and then the other 4, like one got to, I think she said one got to a 2-cell embryo, one got to a 3-cell embryo, and one just didn't really divide much at all. So that was just really hard, because that seemed even worse. So I got her to compare that to my last egg retrieval, and like the results of that one and the one before, and she pretty much was just saying that pretty much after day 3, when the embryo cells itself are supposed to take over and kick over, rather than the sperm and the egg, you know, carrying the division part of it, I guess, they're just stopping. They're not, it's like they're not doing it on their own. So of course she's just an embryologist, or not just, they're amazing, but it's just like that's not her specialty of why, just kind of looking at them. So we have an appointment on Monday the 4th, so not this coming Monday but next Monday, to go through our results with our doctor. I think what we've decided is that we're going to talk about the results and what the possible plan for the future is with the doctor on Monday, and then just not think about it while we're away, because we're going to be in America for almost 6 weeks at the end of November. So we're going to catch up with family and friends in America from like the 23rd of November through till like the 1st of January. So we're really excited about that, but obviously we were excited to have news and share and all the rest of it. Today is a better day. Yesterday sucked.